off in these scriptures get to hitting it go. When we flip the page, swinging with that wisdom blade, cut below us under. We build different, so we don't fear the same. Get it how you want it, boy. I clean up off the bishop's plating. Ain't with fellow deacons, so my reason for freedom means more than Edoms. We feeding these sheep, we leading. When shot to stop all this evil, no sequels spin off of prequels. Defeating this demon's needful. We find it and they find it Nemo. They prime, but they not that primo. They packing, but act like Debo. We active, but we lack ego, man. We face the east. P. We IUIC in the sea. Revelation chapter 14, verse 12. Buddy, would it be? And I'll be damned.
Shalom, shalom, shalom. Most High in Christ bless Israel. Shalom. I'm Captain Josiah. This is IUIC Riley. We back with another classroom video. So let's get right into it. Let's pull that thumbnail up again. Y'all saw the title. Okay, let's pull it up. All right. Under Satan's authority. That is today's class. Under Satan's authority. We're going to go through the scriptures. There's a place in the Bible called Mystery Babylon the Great. Mystery Babylon the Great. Okay. And we're going to dissect the scriptures. We're going to go through some articles, some books and whatnot, and show you the scholars. They know that America is under Satan's authority. America is Babylon the Great. All right, we're going to get through the lesson. So let's start with Luke chapter 4 and start at the top. Verse 1. We'll start at 3. Luke 4 and 3.
The book of Luke chapter 4 verse 3. And the devil said unto him, if thou be the Son of God, command the stone that it be made bread.
This was after Christ fasted. He says, if you be the Son of Man, command these stones to be turned to bread. Go ahead.
And Jesus answered him, saying, it is written that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of God.
Read it again.
And Jesus answered him, saying, it is written that man shall not live by bread alone, but by every word of God.
Right. Christ cut him with the scriptures. It is written, man should not live by bread alone, but by every word of God. Read on. Watch this.
And the devil, taking him up into an high mountain, shewed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment.
So he took him up to a high mountain, and in a moment he showed him what?
In a moment of, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time.
In a moment of time showed him all the kingdoms of the world. Read on.
And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee, and the glory of him, for that is delivered unto me, and to whomsoever I will, I give it.
Hey, read that part again.
And the devil said unto him, all this power will I give thee.
Satan, or the devil, said unto him, all this power will I give to you, if what?
And the glory of them.
And the glory of it, read on, the riches, the wealth, everything in it, read on.
For that is delivered unto me.
Is delivered unto me. I control all of this. Read on.
And to whomsoever I will, I give it.
And to whomsoever I will, I'm going to give it to. I'm going to give this authority to. But the key is, he said, if thou will do what?
Verse 7.
Yep.
If thou therefore wilt worship me, all shall be thine.
That's the key. So Satan has the power to give all the kingdoms, the glory, the wealth in this world to whoever worships him. Let's get to 1 John 3 and 10. 1 John chapter 3, verse 10. Let's transition to that. Watch this. Satan said, I can give you all this power if you just worship me. Watch this.
The book of 1 John chapter 3 and verse 10. In this, the children of God are manifest, and the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth righteousness is not of God.
Read again.
Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God.
Right. Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God. Go ahead.
Neither he that loveth not his brother.
Neither he that loveth not his brother. So now, what I want y'all to see is the Bible says, in this the children of God are manifest and the children of the devil. Remember, Satan said earlier that I can give you everything if you will worship me. He tempted Christ with that, with all the kingdoms, the wealth, and whatnot of the world. In a moment of time, he said, if you worship me, everything will be yours. This is clarifying that Satan has his children on the planet Earth. Okay? The children of God are manifest if they do righteousness, and the children of the devil. Okay? Read that part again.
In this, the children of God are manifest.
Come on.
And the children of the devil. Whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God.
Right. Genesis 4 and 6. Genesis chapter 4, verse 6. Watch this. Go back to the beginning. Because it was the same thing back then. You had a brother named Cain, a brother named Abel. Watch what happened here.
The book of Genesis, chapter 4, verse 6.
Let's go.
And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth?
Uh-huh.
And why is thou countenance fallen? If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted?
If you do well, right, you will be accepted. Read on.
And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door.
If you don't do well, you're going to be the children of the devil. Sin will lie at the door. Read it again.
If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou
So that was the same thing 1 John 3 and 10 said. In this, the children of God are manifest. It said, whosoever doeth not righteousness is not of God, neither he that loveth not his brother. That's the opposite. Read it again. Genesis 4 and 6.
Verse 6. And the Lord said unto Cain, why art thou wroth? And why is thou countenance fallen?
Come on.
If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted?
If you do well, Cain, you'll be the children of the Most High, a child of God. If you love your brother, you'll be a child of God. Read on.
And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door.
Right? Come on.
And unto thee shall be his desire.
And unto thee shall be his desire. Meaning now, he's telling Satan, Cain is going to be your child. That's what he's saying. He's going to be the child of the devil. That's what it's saying there. Read it again, that part again.
And unto thee shall be his desire.
Read it from 7 from the top.
Verse 7. If thou doest well, shalt thou not be accepted? And if thou doest not well, sin lieth at the door.
Come on.
And unto thee shall be his desire.
Unto thee, Satan, shall be Cain's desire. He's going to be the child of the devil. Read on.
And thou shalt rule over him.
And you, Satan, will rule over him. He's going to be your child. Okay, you're going to be his daddy. That's what it's saying.
You're going to learn today.
Now, Malachi 4. 1 and 1, actually. Malachi 1 and 1. I think we're going to read down to 4 maybe. Malachi chapter 1, verse 1.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 1.
Let's go.
The burden of the word of the Lord to Israel by Malachi.
Come on.
I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us? Was not Esau Jacob's brother?
So Israel says, how do you love us, God? We're last hired, first fired, shot down in the streets, impoverished, oppressed. How do you love us? Read again.
I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us?
Read.
Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob.
Yet I love Jacob.
And I hated Esau.
And I hated Esau. Why? Because Esau is a child of the devil. Okay? Satan rules over Esau. Read it again.
I have loved you, saith the Lord. Yet ye say, wherein hast thou loved us?
Come on.
Was not Esau Jacob's brother, saith the Lord? Yet I loved Jacob. And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
He said he laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness. Okay? Read it again. And laid what?
And laid his mountains and his heritage waste for the dragons of the wilderness.
When you deal with the biblical text, Esau dwelt in Mount Seir. Then later on in history, they dwelt in the Caucasus Mountains of Georgia, Russia. That's what it's saying there. Okay? That's where they get the term Caucasians from. Their biblical name is Esau. Read on.
Yes, sir.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
We're going to get to that in a little while. We may come back to this, but it says, Edom saith, we are impoverished. Go ahead.
But we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
Esau will build, but God says, I will throw down. Read on.
And they shall call them the border of wickedness.
And that's what we wanted to get to. They, all nations shall call Esau or Edom the border of wickedness. Remember, God says, I hate him. Okay, and the same thing he told Cain earlier. He says, if you do well, you will be accepted. But if you do not well, sin will lie at the door and Satan is going to rule over you. Okay, Cain came back as Esau, Edom. Okay, read that last part again, verse 4.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
Come on.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
Yep.
And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom
go ahead,
whom the Lord had indignation forever.
God hates these people forever. God hates them forever. There's no salvation for Esau. There's no forgiveness for Esau. God hates them forever. That's what the Bible says. Okay, we're going to give it to you, thus saith the Lord. Not sugar-coated, not watered down. Okay, thus saith the Lord God. Now, RT, give me that definition real quick of Babylon. Give me that one. Let's pull that up. Because there's this mystical Babylon in the Bible, and we wanted to find out what it is. You know, you see the title of the class, Under Satan's Authority, but, you know, what is this really going into, this Babylon? Read this real quick. You know what? We're not going to read all of it. Let's skip down to the lower half of it, where it says the literal Babylon. It's kind of, you know what? Start at Babylon is supposed to mean. Right there in the middle. Yep.
Babylon is supposed to mean Rome, not considered as pagan, but as the prolongation of the ancient power in the papal form.
So it says Babylon is supposed to mean Rome, okay, not considered as pagan, but as the prolongation of the ancient power in the papal form. Meaning Rome and Babylon is the same thing, okay? It's prolonged, okay? Read it again.
Babylon is supposed to mean Rome, not considered as pagan.
Not pagan Rome, but what?
But as the prolongation of the ancient power in the papal form.
Meaning Babylon came back as Rome. Okay, that's what that's saying. Read again. Oh, keep going.
Rome, pagan and papal, is regarded as one power.
Okay, that's the point. Rome, pagan, and papal, meaning the popes, is regarded as one power. Read on.
The literal Babylon was the beginner and supporter of tyranny and idolatry.
Now listen to this. The literal Babylon was the beginner and supporter of tyranny and idolatry. Okay. Now, when you deal with the scriptures, you have a Babylon under Nimrod, and then you have a Neo-Babylonian, which means New Babylon, under Nebuchadnezzar. Okay. Read on. Read this again.
This city and its whole empire were taken by the Persians under Cyrus.
Okay, so now that's the Neo-Babylonian, okay, under Nebuchadnezzar. It says this city and its whole empire were taken by the Persians under Cyrus. Go ahead.
The Persians were subdued by the Macedonians, and the Macedonians by the Romans.
So now, this is historical right here. Read that part again. The Persians were subdued by who?
The Persians were subdued by the Macedonians, and the Macedonians by the Romans.
Now, those are the fourth beasts or the four kingdoms that you read about in the book of Daniel. Okay, you have Babylon, Persia, Mede, Greece, then Rome. All right, read on.
So that Rome succeeded to the power of old Babylon.
That's key. So Rome succeeded to the power of the old Babylon. Okay, go ahead.
And it was her method to adopt the worship of false deities she had conquered, so that by her own act she became the heiress and successor of all the Babylonian idolatry.
So now it's telling you that Rome really, literally, or from a figurative standpoint, became Babylon. Okay, read on.
And of all that was introduced into it by the immediate successors of Babylon, and consequently of all the idolatry of the earth.
All the idolatry of the earth. Watch this.
Rome, or mystical Babylon.
Rome, or mystical Babylon. Go ahead.
Is the great city which reigneth over the kingdoms of the earth.
And then they quote Revelation 17:18, which goes into mystery Babylon or mystical Babylon. They're trying to say it's Rome or Rome is mystical Babylon, right? That's the key. Now, give me the next one, Esau. We're gonna come back to that. Okay.
Bring it out.
Now, we just read out of Malachi, okay, God says that he hated Esau, okay, and the people whom the Lord have indignation forever. That's what it said, right? Read this. This is out of the book Biblical Baby Names.
Boys' names, Esau.
So now, we just want to scroll all the way down to the bottom and just get that last part. I just want y'all to see this real quick.
Of interest, according to the commentaries on Hebrew scripture, Esau is considered a significant character in world history and the forefather of the Roman Empire.
Okay, so now Esau is the forefather of the Roman Empire. Esau is the forefather, listen good, of the Roman Empire. Now pull that Babylon up one more time. So Esau founded the Roman Empire, which is the same people that God says he hates forever. Okay, let's get the bottom again.
Bring it out.
All right, start at so that Rome succeeded to the power of the old Babylon.
And it was her method to adopt the worship of the false deities she had conquered.
So now Rome succeeded. So I want y'all to see, which means Esau. Esau succeeded to the power of the old Babylon. That's what I want y'all to see that. Rome and Esau is interchangeable here because they founded the Roman Empire. Go ahead.
And it was her method to adopt the worship of false deities she had conquered, so that by her own act she became the heiress and successor of all the Babylonian idolatry, and of all that was introduced into it by the immediate successors of Babylon, and consequently of all the idolaters of the earth.
Come on.
Rome, or mythical Babylon, is the great city which reigneth over the kingdoms of the earth.
So now, look at this real quick. Now, it says Rome or mystical Babylon is that great city, okay, which we didn't really get to that yet. But remember, if Esau founded the Roman Empire, it's telling you who Mystery Babylon is.
That's right.
Okay, so you can replace Rome right there with Esau. Esau or mystical Babylon is that great city, okay, meaning they would found that great city. So now, let's transition back to Malachi 1 real quick. I just want y'all to see something real quick. Malachi 1.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1 and verse 1.
Let's read 3.
Verse 3. And I hated Esau, and laid his mountains and his heritage waste before the dragons of the wilderness. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished.
So now, notice, they founded Rome, right? Rome had to fall at some point, okay? So we are impoverished. Go ahead.
But we will return and build the desolate places.
But we're going to return and build the desolate places. So now you have to ask yourself, well, after Rome, who ruled? Well, what history? Where's the history on who ruled after Rome? You don't really read about it, okay? That's something they call the Dark Ages. We don't want to talk about that. They fell and they came back into power. That's what this is going into right here. Read it again.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
We're going to come back and build. We're going to rebuild. Okay, go ahead. So which means what? We were Rome, but we're going to come back as something else, which that article said, okay, or the definition mentioned mystical Babylon or mystery Babylon. All right, read it again.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
Come on.
Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
Come on.
And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord had indignation forever.
And the people whom God hates forever. So now, let's get Daniel real quick. Daniel. Chapter 7 and verse 7.
The book of Daniel, chapter 7 and verse 7. After this I saw in the night vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and broke in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it.
Come on.
and it was diverse from all the beasts that were before it.
This fourth beast was different from all the ones that came before it. Now, remember we read in the, that definition of Babylon. It mentioned Babylon, the Persian Mede took over, the Macedonians, which is Greece, then Rome. Rome took over, which is the fourth. Come on.
And it had 10 horns. I considered the horns, and behold, there came up among them another little horn, before whom there were 3 of the first horns plucked up by the roots.
Okay, I didn't want to get that far yet. Read 7 again.
Verse 7. After this, I saw in the night's vision, and behold, a fourth beast, dreadful and terrible, and strong exceedingly, and it had great iron teeth. It devoured and brake in pieces, and stamped the residue with the feet of it.
Okay, let's stop there. Let's go to 2nd Ezra chapter 12. All right, 2nd Ezra chapter 12, verse 10. Read what you got.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 12 and verse 10. And he said unto me, this is the interpretation of the vision. The eagle, whom thou sawest came up from the sea, is the kingdom which was seen in the vision by thy brother Daniel.
So now, Ezra saw a vision, which he saw a beast come up, and he knew it was an eagle. The angel told him, the eagle whom thou sawest come up from the sea is what?
Is the kingdom which was seen.
It is the kingdom. Go ahead.
In the vision of thy brother Daniel.
Meaning what? That eagle that you saw, Ezra's, is the same thing that Daniel saw. He just didn't know it was an eagle. It's the same thing. Okay? Which was Esau, which is Rome. Okay? Come on.
But it was not expounded unto him. Therefore, now I declare it unto thee.
Right. It wasn't expounded unto Daniel. Therefore, it was declared unto you, Ezra. So now, let's get Acts real quick. Acts 17, start at 1.
Let's go.
The book of Acts, chapter 17, verse 1.
Come on.
Bring it out.
Now, when they had passed through Amphipolis and Apollonia, they came to Thessalonica,
Yep.
where was a synagogue of the Jews.
Okay, they came to Thessalonica, which was where a synagogue of the Jews was. Okay, read on.
And Paul, as his manner was, went in unto them, and 3 Sabbath days reasoned with them out of the scriptures.
You see that? So now in Thessalonica, he went to the synagogue and reasoned or taught the Israelites there. Okay, come on.
Verse 3, opening and alleging that Christ must needs have suffered and risen again from the dead, and that this Jesus, whom I preach unto you, is Christ.
Right, this Jesus is the Christ. Come on.
And some of them believed and consorted with Paul and Silas, and of the devout Greeks in great multitude, of the chief women not a few.
Okay, so the point I wanted was in Thessalonica, Paul went and taught the Israelites there, the Jews.
That's right.
All right, give me Acts 18. Acts 18 and 1.
The book of Acts, chapter 18, verse 1. After these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth. And I found a certain Jew named Aquila.
So now, in Corinth, so now in the New Testament, you have books called Corinthians. You have the book called Thessalonians. Okay? I'm showing you here that Jews dwelt in those areas. That's what we're looking at here. Okay? So Paul traveled to these different areas teaching the Israelites that were scattered there. It's not talking about Caucasians or Chinese or East Indians, so forth and so on, Japhetic nations. No, the Israelites dwelt in those areas and he taught them there. Read again, Acts 1 and 18 and 1.
After these things, Paul departed from Athens and came to Corinth and found a certain Jew named Aquila, born in Pontus, lately come from Italy, with his wife Priscilla, because that Claudius had commanded all Jews to depart from Rome.
Because Claudius, now who is this Claudius? This Claudius is one of the feathers that came out of that particular eagle, which we didn't particularly read it in 2nd Ezra, but Claudius was a Caesar. Okay, we'll get a little bit more on that in a second here. Read on.
And came unto them, and because he was of the same craft, he abode with them and wrought.
All right, jump to verse 11.
Verse 11. And he continued there a year and 6 months, teaching the word of God among them. And when Gallio was the deputy of Achaia, The Jews made insurrection with one accord against Paul.
Read 11 again.
Verse 11. And he continued there a year and 6 months.
He continued how long?
A year and 6 months.
Right. So Paul traveled, and sometimes he posted up and dwelt there in particular areas and taught the Israelites for a while. He had to build brothers up. Okay. Now let's go to 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, which we read in Acts 17. Okay, that Jews were there. All right. 1 Thessalonians chapter 1 and verse 5.
Bring it out.
The book of 1 Thessalonians chapter 1 verse 5.
Let's go.
For our gospel came not unto you in word only.
Our gospel, the good news, didn't come unto you in word only. Read.
But also in power and in the Holy Ghost.
Come on.
And in much assurance.
Come on.
As ye know what manner of man we are among you for your sake.
As you know what manner of men we were among you. Because we read in Acts 17, and even in Corinth, Paul went and traveled there and dealt with them in person. Let's skip to chapter 2. I'm sorry, 2 Thessalonians. Let's go to 2 Thessalonians 2 and 1. That's my fault. Yep.
The book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 1.
Let's go.
Now we beseech you, brethren, by the coming of our Lord Jesus Christ, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter, as from us, as that the day of Christ is at hand.
So don't be troubled. Don't let nobody trick you saying Christ is already here, or he's coming. Okay? Read on.
Let no man deceive you by
Let no man deceive you. Go ahead.
By any means.
Read.
For that day shall not come, except there be a falling away first.
For the day of Christ shall not come except the Israelites fall and go into captivity. That's what he's saying.
Right.
There. Meaning what? The Deuteronomy chapter 28 in its entirety has to come to pass. Okay? That's what he's saying. Read that part again.
Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come except there be a falling away first.
Except there be a falling away first. We would have to completely lose our nationality, our identity completely. Read on.
And that man of sin be revealed.
And that man of sin would have to be revealed. Okay, so the Israelites have to fall, and the devil, or that man of sin, would have to be revealed. The child of the devil. Okay, read on.
The son of perdition.
The son of perdition. Go ahead.
Who opposeth and exalteth.
Matter of fact, give me that definition real quick. Did I send that? Perdition? All right, let me get that.
You're going to learn today.
Let me get the definition of perdition. What does it mean, the son of perdition? Okay. The man of sin must be revealed, the son of perdition.
Bring it out.
This is not a regular Negro word. We don't use terms like that often. Perdition. Really at all. Read this.
Perdition. 1. A state of final spiritual ruin.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. A state of final spiritual ruin. Go ahead.
Loss of the soul.
Loss of soul.
Damnation.
Damnation. Come on, read 2.
The future state of the wicked.
Man, the future state of the wicked. Now remember, Malachi 1 said Esau, Edom is the border of wickedness.
That's right.
Okay. They're the son of perdition. Read 3.
Hell.
4.
Utter destruction or ruin.
You see that? Utter destruction. They're going to be completely wiped out. Now, go back to 2 Thessalonians. Let's read 2 and 3 again.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 3.
Bring it out.
Let no man deceive you by any means.
Yep.
For that day shall not come, except there be a falling away first.
Except there be a falling away first. Come on.
And that man of sin be revealed.
So now, why would he have to be revealed? Because it would be a mystery. Nobody would know it would be him. Who is it? Who's the guy? He would have to be revealed through the prophets. Come
Bring it
on.
out.
The son of perdition.
The son of hell, utter destruction, loss of soul. Okay, come on.
Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God.
Now, the son of perdition that needs to be revealed, it says he opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God. Read on.
Or that is worship.
Come on.
So that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
Man, so he shows himself that he is God. Read on.
Remember ye not that when I was with you, I told you these things. And now ye know that withhold, that he might be revealed in his time.
So now you know what withholds the day of Christ, because he has to be revealed in his time. It wasn't the time right here. He's just letting them know, listen, this ain't the time. He has to be revealed later on. Read on. Which is this time right now. Okay, read on.
For the mystery of iniquity doth already work.
For the mystery of iniquity does already work. Who was in power at this time? Rome. Rome was in power. The mystery of iniquity is already at work. Okay, read on.
Only he who now letteth will let.
Come on.
Until he be taken out of the way.
Read on.
And then shall that wicked be revealed.
And then shall that wicked be revealed. Read.
Whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth.
That's why I said through the prophets he will be revealed. That's what this time is right now. Okay, come on.
And shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. Even him whose coming is after the workings of Satan.
Wait a minute. Even him whose work is what? Whose coming, that's what it says. Even him whose coming is after the work of Satan, after the working of Satan. Remember in Genesis, it says, unto thee shall be his desire. And Satan, you're going to rule over him. Okay, 1 John 3:10 says, you have the children of God and the children of the devil. That's what Esau is. They were already at work during this time, okay, and now they're going to be revealed.
That's right.
Read that again.
Even him whose comings is after the working of Satan with all power and signs and lying wonders.
All right, so now jump back up to verse 4. And then, IT, if you can, let's pull up some of those images, the SIBO stuff. I want to show y'all this. Verse 4.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, and that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
So now, look at this. This is what the Bible's talking about. Read that verse again.
Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
These are ancient busts of Caesar Borgia.
The devil.
Okay? This is an image right here that all churches worship. Okay? All our people worship these different images of Caesar Borgia. This is him showing himself that he is God. This is so-called Christ. Go back to the other one. Let's read the text at the bottom of the other one. If we can zoom into that. Shout out to Bishop Nathaniel for this right here.
The original of this bust was found in the church of San Salvatore in the Termis, now destroyed.
Watch this.
It is an open secret.
It is an open secret. Go ahead.
That Caesar Borgia, the son of Pope Alexander, had posed for it.
It's an open secret that the Pope's son, Caesar Borgia, posed for this particular image. Read on.
Upon the demolition of the church, the bust disappeared until it was rediscovered on the walls of...
Don't worry about it. Hey, IT, give me that the video. Give me the video of the rapper showing his so-called, what they call Jesus piece. Let me get that. Esau opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God. And he shows himself that he is God. Now, this is the image right here. Look at this. So now, it was a bust back then. Now it became chains, emblems, earrings, necklaces, everything. Play this. Play this real quick.
It's a lot of weak-ass Jesus pieces. A lot of these rappers got whack-ass Jesus pieces, all right? That probably costs like under 5,000 or 2,000 or 500. This right here, that is the best Jesus piece, man. Shout out to Jacob the jeweler.
Pause it again. Notice he's saying that's the best Jesus piece. Look at this. You could tell it's a so-called Caucasian man. That's Caesar Borgia. Give me that image again, the bust where it says SIBO posed for it. let's transition. We're going to come back to that, though, so hold that. Just pull that image back up. I want to show y'all that again. It's the same thing. Look at this. The same exact thing.
Hey.
Okay. Read that verse again, verse 4.
2 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 4. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God.
So that he as God sits in the temple of God. That's them being set up in all the churches. Read on.
Showing himself that he is God.
And this is what you're looking at. He shows himself that he is God with the thorn of crowns on his head. Now go back to the video.
Bring it out.
Started from where we were at, or either play it from the tie. It don't matter. Y'all see the rappers with this filth on. Play it.
And everybody be saying Jacob got the best Jesus piece. Shout out to Jacob and Ye who really went in and redesigned this thing right here, man, with the enamel, the detail. He got red tears. People say it's white Jesus. I like to believe it's just light-skinned Jesus. You know.
So pause it. People say it's white Jesus. I like to say, what do you say, light skin?
What?
That's Cesar Borgia. That's who that is.
The devil.
That is a Caucasian image. That's a false image of Christ. That's what we're reading right here in 1 Thessalonians chapter 2. The man of sin being revealed, showing himself that he is God. Okay? Now, read on. Read on 1 Thessalonians, or 2 Thessalonians, excuse me, 2 and 5.
Verse 5. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things.
Come on.
And now ye know what withholdeth that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth work already. Only he who now letteth would let, until he be taken out of the way.
So the mystery of iniquity does already work. Remember, it was only 4 kingdoms that Daniel mentioned in Daniel chapter 7 and 7. The book of 2nd Ezra 12 verified that it's the eagle. Now let's go back to 2nd Ezra real quick, and then I want to get the Caesars.
Bring it out.
2nd Ezra 12, where we stopped at. Start at 11 again.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 12 and verse 11. The eagle whom thou sawest come up from the sea is the kingdom which is seen in the vision of thy brother Daniel. But it was not expounded unto him. Where therefore now I declare it unto thee.
So the eagle was not expounded unto Daniel, but Ezra is being edified to say, hey, that's what that was back then. Come on.
Behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon the earth, and it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it.
So now, read that again.
Behold, the days will come that there shall rise up a kingdom upon earth, and it shall be feared.
Now, I want y'all to see this. During this time, this is the book of Ezra, which was during the time of the Persian captivity. So he's prophesying that there's going to come another kingdom that's going to be feared above all. Okay, come on.
And it shall be feared above all the kingdoms that were before it. In the same shall 12 kings reign.
And in the same shall 12 kings reign. Read on.
One after another.
Come on.
Wherefore of the second shall begin to reign, and shall have more time than any of the 12.
So now, pull that image up of the Caesars real quick while we read this. Read that part again. Verse 14.
Verse 14. In the same shall 12 kings reign, one after another, whereof the second shall begin to reign, and shall have more time than any of the 12.
So now, look at this. This is what it's talking about. This is what the Bible is revealing right here. Let's zoom in. You can take me off. Let's zoom in. Okay. These are old busts of the Caesars of Rome.
That's right.
Now let's zoom out again. Let's zoom out. Now let's count them. Okay. From the left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. Read that again in verse 14.
Verse 14. In the same shall 12 kings reign, one after another, whereof the second shall begin to reign, and shall have more time than any of the 12.
So now the second shall begin to reign and have and reign more time than all the other ones. Let's get Luke chapter 2, verse 1. Let's read this kind of fast.
Bring it out.
We'll just jump through a couple of these real quick. Luke chapter 2. You can zoom into that, actually, IT. Luke 2 and 1.
The book of Luke, chapter 2, verse 1. And it came to pass in those days that there went out a decree from Caesar Augustus.
From who?
Caesar Augustus.
There went out a decree from Caesar Augustus. Zoom in. Look, can we pull in some more? Is that it? All right, that's what you're looking at the top. Okay. There went out a decree from Caesar Augustus. Come on.
That all the world should be taxed.
Read on.
And this taxing was first made when Cyrenius was governor of Syria.
Okay, now let's get chapter 3 and verse 1.
The book of Luke, chapter 3, verse 1.
Caesar Augustus. Watch this, 3 and 1.
Now, in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar.
Of who?
Tiberius Caesar.
Now, look at the second image there that y'all see on the screen. Tiberius Caesar. Okay, in the reign of what? Read 3 and 1 again.
Now, in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, Pontius Pilate being governor of Judah, and Herod being tetrarch of Galilee.
Tetrarch of Galilee. So now, keep that image on the screen and go back to 2nd Ezra, where we stopped at real quick.
Bring it out.
12 and 14 again. 15, matter of fact.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 12, verse 15.
Come on.
Let's go.
12 and 15. So what I want y'all to see is, as he gets the scripture, look at the dates next to the Caesars. Okay, look at those dates. Notice it mentions Augustus, and his reign is longer than the rest of them, right?
Right.
Okay, watch this, what it says here, 12 and 15.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 12, verse 15. Whereof the second shall begin to reign, and shall have more time than any of the 12.
Okay, that's the point right there. So now go back to 3 and 1 in Luke.
The book of Luke, chapter 3, verse 1. Now, in the 15th year of the reign of Tiberius Caesar, Pontius Pilate being governor of Judea, and Herod being tetrarch of Galilee.
All right, that's all I wanted. Now we read about Caesar Augustus, and we read about Tiberius Caesar. Jump to Acts chapter 11, verse 28.
Bring it out.
The book of Acts, chapter 11 and verse 28.
Let's go.
And there stood up one of them named Agabus, and signified by the Spirit that there should be great dearth throughout all the world.
Come on.
Which came to pass in the days of Claudius Caesar.
Which came to pass in the days of who?
Claudius Caesar.
Claudius Caesar. Can we pull that up? You see that? That came to pass in the days of Claudius Caesar. Read that one more time.
Verse 28. And there stood up one of them named Agabus, and signified by the Spirit that there should be great dearth throughout all the world, which came to pass in the days of Claudius Caesar.
All right, Acts 27. I just want to jump through a couple of these. Acts 27 and verse 23. What I'm showing y'all is when Paul said the mystery of iniquity does already work, that's what we're looking here on the screen. Okay? Daniel mentioned a fourth kingdom. Ezra's verified it as the eagle and said 12 kings would reign in that particular kingdom. Right. And then Paul verified in 2 Thessalonians that the mystery of iniquity is already at work.
That's right.
He wasn't going to be revealed in that time. This is the time now. Okay, read this.
The book of Acts, chapter 27, verse 23.
Yes.
For there stood by me this night the angel of God, whose I am and whom I serve.
Come on.
Saying, fear not, Paul, thou must be brought before Caesar.
Fear not, Paul, thou must be brought before Caesar. So Paul knew. He said, the mystery of iniquity does already work. He knew what 2nd Ezra said. Okay? That was revealed to him. Christ taught him all of that. He knew. Okay? Jump to chapter 28 and verse 19.
The book of Acts, chapter 28, verse 19. But when the Jews spake against it, I was constrained to appeal unto Caesar. That's all
I wanted. That's all I wanted. Read it again.
But when the Jews spake against it, I was constrained to appeal unto Caesar.
But when the Jews spake against it, I was constrained to appeal before Caesar. Paul had to go before Caesar, okay, to appeal. Read on.
To appeal before Caesar, not that I had ought to accuse my nation of.
Okay, I just wanted to finish the verse. So now, go back to Malachi real quick. Malachi 1. And read 4 again. And then I want that Septimius, RT.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4.
Let's go.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
24, RT. Read again.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places.
We are impoverished, but we're going to return and build the desolate places. So now, we have the fourth kingdom being established. The 12 Caesars reign. This particular prophecy right here happened when Rome was destroyed. So what happened here? Let's jump to this little article right here. I just want to get a quick little point out of this, just to highlight an area.
It was Commodus who successfully made peace on the northern frontier. But in the end, his misrule and corruption were devastating for the empire. His death.
But in the end, his misrule and corruption was devastating for the empire. Read on.
His death ushered a new period of civil wars.
So now, his death ushered in a new period of civil wars. Read on. Read the title. The Severians.
The Severians and the soldier emperors.
Right.
193 through 284 AD.
193 to 284 AD. Read this.
In 193 AD, Septimius Severus seized Rome and established a new dynasty.
Now, what I want y'all to see is in 193 AD, Septimius Severus seized the Roman Empire. And it says established a new dynasty in 193 AD.
That's
okay?
right.
They say Christ died around 30 to 33 AD. Okay, so this is, 160 some odd years later. Okay, Septimius Severus established a new dynasty. So now read Malachi 1 and 4 and just let's keep that up.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4.
Bring it out.
Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down. And they shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people whom the Lord had indignation forever.
And the people whom God hates forever. So now, there will come a time where Edom or Esau, the fourth kingdom, which was Rome, will be impoverished. They will be subdued, but they will come back into power. Now, IT, give me it's Imperial Rome, pages 140 through 142. I want to grab those real quick. It's going to go into Septimius Severus, his identity somewhat. Okay, watch this. So now, what I want y'all to see, zoom in. Matter of fact, IT, if you could do this for me real quick. Let's pull up the Caesars one more time, the bust of the Caesars, and then come right back to this. I want to show y'all something. Pull it up one more time. Watch this. Bear with me for a second. Let's just zoom in real quick. Zoom all the way in where you can just see maybe 2 on each side. That's good right there. That's good. So now, let's just scroll down. Notice that none of the noses are knocked off of any of these. None of the noses are knocked off. Okay, they all have, just like the bust was created, they all still look the same. A little wear and tear. Let's zoom in some more to the bottom. You see that? None of the noses are knocked off. Okay, so now let's go to that next one where we just started. This next book is called Imperial Rome. Matter of fact, that's Imperial Rome as well, that page. Pull that page up we just had. Yep, that's it. Zoom in. Now, what I want y'all to see is, look at the noses on these. Okay? Now, why are these knocked off? Why are all 4 of these, on these busts, these statues knocked off? We know why. Because they had Negro noses, black features. Okay? So Esau, remember, the scripture says they were impoverished, but they will return and build the desolate places. They were impoverished during this time. When we ruled, we took over. Now I'll give you the next page. And we're going to go to the bottom of that next page, page 141. 141 and 142 of that Imperial Rome. Show y'all this real quick. All right. We're going to go all the way to the bottom and just read like that last maybe 3 lines.
Armies based
That's
in,
fine. Armies. That's good.
Armies based in several of the provinces had already proclaimed their own commanders as emperor.
So now, armies based in several of the provinces had already proclaimed their own commanders as emperor. Read, watch this.
And one of them, Septimius Severus.
Now, notice how they cut the word off after that. So we got to go to the next page. You see Afri right here, Septimius Severus.
African by birth.
Notice, African by birth. So Septimius Severus was a black man. Okay? Was a black man. African by birth. Read on.
A commander of the Danube now marched on Rome and disposed the new emperor by auction.
Okay, so now they took over. That's the point right there. That's what I wanted y'all to see. So then read Malachi 1 and 4 again.
The book of Malachi, chapter 1, verse 4. Whereas Edom saith, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. Thus saith the Lord of hosts, they shall build, but I will throw down.
God said they're going to build, but I'm going to throw it down. Read.
They shall call them the border of wickedness, and the people against whom the Lord had indignation forever.
So now, let's get Zechariah 2 and verse 6. Zechariah chapter 2, verse 6.
The book of Zechariah, chapter 2, verse 6. Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord.
Read on.
For I have spread you abroad as the 4 winds of the heaven, saith the Lord. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwellest with the daughter of Babylon.
So now, the Bible is confirming that the land of the north is the daughter of Babylon. Read 6 and 7 one more time.
Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north.
This is a spiritual fleeing, meaning come out of their sins.
Right.
Okay, not a physical fleeing. Read it again.
Ho, ho, come forth and flee from the land of the north, saith the Lord.
Read on.
For I have spread you abroad as the
I have scattered you. Remember, Paul said there must come a falling away first. Israel was scattered into all nations on slavery, slave ships. Okay, read on.
For I have spread you abroad as the 4 winds of the heaven.
Come on.
Saith the Lord. Deliver thyself, O Zion, that dwells with the daughter of Babylon.
That dwells with the daughter of Babylon.
The devil.
So Israel would dwell with the daughter of Babylon. Who's that? Who is the daughter of Babylon? Give me Psalms 137. Now remember the definition of earlier we pulled up of Babylon. It said Rome or mystical Babylon. Who ruled Rome? Esau, Edom. Who ruled mystical Babylon? The same people, which is the Bible is calling right now the daughter of Babylon. Watch this, Psalms 137. You know what I want.
The book of Psalms, chapter 137, verse 7.
Yes.
Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter.
That was during the time of the Neo-Babylonian Empire, okay? They assisted the Babylonians in destroying us. That raise it means destroy it. Kill them. Okay, read it again.
Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of...
The who?
The children of Edom.
Remember, God says, and the people whom I hate forever. That's what Malachi 1 and 4 said. That's the children of Edom. Read on.
In the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed. Happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us.
Is that it?
Happy, yes, sir. Verse 9.
Read on.
Happy shall he be that taketh and dasheth thy little ones against the stones.
Okay, so that's it. Happy shall he be that taketh thy little ones and dashes them against the stones. Meaning the stuff they did to us, destroying us, killing our babies, is going to happen to them. That's what God is saying. God is a just God. Okay? Now, let's get Revelation chapter 6. And let's start at verse 1. Right, let's go.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 1. And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals, and I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, Come and see. And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
Now read 1 and 2 again.
And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals.
And I saw when the Lamb opened one of the seals. That Lamb is Christ. Read on.
And I heard, as it were the noise of thunder, one of the four beasts saying, Come and see.
He said, hey, he opened the seal. He said, hey, come and see. Check this out. Read on.
And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bow, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
This particular white horse, it says, and him that sat on it had a bow and a crown, and it was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer.
Right.
Conquering everything and everybody. Okay? Read on.
And when he had opened the second seal, I heard the second beast say, Come and see. And there went out another horse that was red, and power was given to him that sat thereon, to take peace from the earth. And
to do what?
To take peace from the earth.
It was given him to take peace from the earth. Saying the same thing. Conquering and to conquer. To take peace from the earth. Meaning through war, bloodshed. Okay? Go ahead.
And that they should kill one another. And there was given unto him a great sword. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand.
Read on.
And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, 3 measures of barley for a penny.
Meaning this is going into economics, right? Economics. This is how much this is supposed to cost. This is how much that's supposed to cost. Go ahead.
And see thou heard not the oil and the wine.
Read on.
And when he had opened the fourth seal, I heard the voice of the fourth beast say, Come and see. And I looked and beheld a pale horse.
A what?
A pale horse.
Now, that pale horse is the same white horse and the red one as well. It's all the same thing. Okay? This vision that he's seeing is all talking about the same thing. This particular beast going forth to conquer through war, bloodshed, politics, economics, everything. Read on.
And his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him.
His name that sat on it was what?
Was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth.
Now, this particular, notice that it said the white horse and the pale horse. Now, I don't have the definition. Actually, I didn't get that. But when you look at the etymology of the word Esau, okay, matter of fact, let's pull it real quick. Genesis 25. Let's read it. It means wasted away is he. Wasted away is he. He had no melanin. They don't have any melanin. That's why the blood shows forth through their skin. Okay. Devil. So that white and red horse, the pale horse, all talking about the same thing. Got that Genesis 25 when he was born?
Start at verse 23.
Just get to the point. Was it 25?
20, yes, sir. The book of Genesis, chapter 25, verse 25.
Yes.
And the first came out red over.
What? The first came out what?
The first came out red all over like an hairy garment.
Yes.
And they called his name Esau.
And they called his name Esau. Shout out to IT. Pull that up real quick. Let me get that. They found it for me. So watch this. Watch this, the etymology of the word Esau.
Esau, the English translation of the Hebrew name Esau, which means wasted away.
Which means wasted away. There it is. So thank you. I didn't make it up. It means wasted away are they.
That's right.
In Hebrew, are they or he at that time. So notice it says they because God says, these are the people whom I hate forever.
The devil.
Okay. Now, where are we at? Go back to Revelation 6.
The book of
Bring it
Revelation,
out.
chapter 6, verse 8.
Yes.
And I looked and beheld a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him.
Uh-huh.
And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword.
Notice. And power was given unto them over what?
Over the fourth part of the earth.
Over the fourth part of the earth. Power is given unto them that's on the white horse, the red, the pale, all that. Power is given to them over the fourth part of the earth.
What?
Come on.
To kill with the sword.
To kill with the sword. So that means, whatever that fourth part is, people had to be there before they got there. Right. Came conquering and killing. Read on.
And with hunger.
With famine. Read.
And with death. And with the beast of the earth.
Right. What's called zoonosis. Vaccines and smallpox and so forth.
What the hell?
Okay. So now read that again. Verse 8. This is some heavy stuff.
And I looked and behold a pale horse.
Uh-huh.
And his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with the sword and with hunger and with death and with the beast of the earth.
So now, I want you to go to Genesis 27 and get me Esau's blessing. All right. Genesis is 27, right? 27.
Yes, sir. 38.
Yes.
The book of Genesis, chapter 27, verse 38.
Let's go.
And Esau said unto his father, Hast thou but one blessing, my father?
Come on.
Bless me, even me also, my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept.
Read on.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
Your dwelling shall be on the best places of the earth. Read on.
And of the dew of heaven from above.
Meaning what? As the dew falls on everything. Everything outside. When you walk outside, you get up in the morning, you walk outside, dew is all over everything. Grass,
Bring it
cars,
out.
your mailbox, your house, everything. Okay, meaning what? They're going to dwell in the best places everywhere. That's what they're saying. Read it again.
And Isaac his father answered and said unto him, Behold, thy dwelling shall be the fatness of the earth.
Yes.
And the dew of heaven from above.
As the dew of heaven above. Read.
And by thy sword shalt thou live.
And by the sword you will live. Everything you get, everywhere you go, everywhere you conquer, you're going to do it by the sword. Okay? Now go back to Revelation 6. Is that it on that verse? Let me see.
There's a little more.
Read on.
And by thy sword shalt thou live, and shalt serve thy brother. And it shall come to pass, when thou shalt have the dominion, that thou shalt break his yoke from off thy neck.
Okay, and you can read about that in the book of 2 Kings. But the point I wanted is Esau would live by the sword. That's his blessing. So now, being wasted away as he would conquer everything by the sword. That's the same thing we're reading right here in Revelation 6. Okay? This is them coming back. Remember, Malachi says, we are impoverished, but we will return and build the desolate places. How do they do it? By the sword. Okay, read Revelation 6 and 8 again.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 8.
Yes.
And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him.
Uh-huh.
And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth.
And power was given to them over the fourth part of the earth. Read.
To kill with the sword.
Now, again, like I referenced earlier, if power was given to them over the fourth part of the earth to kill, that means it had to be inhabited before they got there. Okay, and they went in there conquering whatever the fourth part of the earth is, which we're going to clarify right now. Okay, come on.
And with hunger, and with death, and with the beast of the earth.
Okay, so IT, give me page 105. No worries, we good. Page 105. Yep. Come on.
Bacon also turned to an unusual religious source to back his views up.
Yeah, Bacon returned to an unusual religious source to back up his views. Read.
The Bible's book of Esdras, also known as
So
Ezra.
he used the Bible book of Esdras. Read on.
Also known as Ezra.
Again, also known as Ezra. It's the same brother. When you read the quote-unquote Old Testament, you have Ezra. In the Apocrypha, it's Esdras. Same brother. Read on.
A controversial work generally rejected by Roman Catholics. But
Now, they generally rejected by Roman Catholics. Read.
But accepted by Orthodox Christians.
It's completely opposite now. The Catholics have those books in their Bibles. The Orthodox quote-unquote Christians don't have it. Okay? Read.
Esdras tells us in his fourth book, Bacon reported that 6 parts of the earth are inhabited, while the 7th is covered with water.
Read on.
Nobody should question the authority of this passage.
That's the part I wanted. Nobody should question the authority of this passage. Read.
By claiming that this book is apocryphal.
Meaning this book is false. Nobody should question by saying this book is false. Read on.
And of dubious authority.
And of dubious authority. Nobody should say that. Read on.
Everyone knows that the saints of old.
Everybody knows that the saints of old, read.
Used this book constantly.
Use this book constantly. It is canon, quote unquote.
That's right.
It's official. The book of Esdras is official. Read that part again. Everyone what?
Everyone knows that the saints of old used this book constantly to confirm the sacred truths and even use this book to pronounce
the pronouncements
in the divine office.
So now, notice it says everybody uses this book. All the prophets use this book. We confirmed earlier that Esdras got what Daniel didn't get. Okay? More was expounded unto Esdras than Daniel, at least about the eagle at that time. Okay? So now, and then Paul, we read in Thessalonians, we read in Luke, Acts, you read about the Caesars and so forth, that Esdras said would come. Remember he said in Esdras, 12 kings would reign in that 4th kingdom. And we read about that in the New Testament.
That's right.
Okay, so prophecy became history. Prophecy became history. Give me the next page, page 6. Watch this. Now, why are we going here? Let's keep this on the page and read Revelation 6 and 8 one more time.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 8. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse.
Come on.
And his name that sat on it, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. And power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth.
Okay, that's all we're going here. Power was given unto them over the 4th part of the earth. Read on. Watch this.
Vespucci guessed that America was a distinct geographical entity, different from Asia, Europe, and Africa.
So now, Vespucci, which we're gonna get more to that. Okay, Vespucci guessed. It ain't a guess. They knew. Okay, how did they know? Based on the book of Esdras.
Right.
Okay, read that again. Vespucci what?
Vespucci guessed that America was a distinct graphical entity.
Geographical entity, meaning what? A 4th part. Vespucci guessed that America was a distinct geographical entity, read.
Different from Asia, Europe, and Africa.
The other 3 parts, okay, which were inhabited by the sons of Noah, okay, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. There was a 4th part that was distinct from all of those other 3, okay? And it's saying Vespucci knew that was America, okay? Why? Because that's what America is named after. Give me the next page, 35.
You're going to learn today.
Watch this.
This basis for his story of how the Jews got to America was...
Whoa. This basis was who got to America?
How the Jews got to America was the 4th book of Esdras.
Wait a minute. This basis for his story of how the Jews got to America was the 4th book of Esdras, which you do read about that in the book of Esdras. Okay,
That's
2nd
right.
Esdras, chapter 13. All right, now it's saying the 4th book because you have Ezra, Nehemiah, 1st Esdras, then 2nd Esdras. Okay, so 2nd Esdras is 4th Esdras.
Bring it out.
Read that again. The basis.
The basis for his story of how the Jews got to America was the 4th book of Esdras.
So again, that's why he read earlier, you cannot question its authority. You can read about that in the book of Ezra, how they came to this side. Okay, America being a fourth part. You read about it right there. Come on.
Whose authority Luminous accepted despite its apocryphal standing.
You see, he accepted it despite its apocryphal standing, meaning we're not sure about these books, but he accepted it because, again, what? Prophecy became history. All right, let's jump down to the next highlighted part.
Briefly, Luminous' argument was that the 10 tribes of Hebrews exiled to various parts of the Assyrian Empire.
So now, 10 tribes, read it again.
The 10 tribes of Hebrews exiled to various parts of the Assyrian Empire.
Exiled to various parts of the Assyrian Empire. Read.
By Shalmaneser had escaped to Arsareth with Luminous identified as India, America.
Yeah, you can't skip that. Read that part again. You got to read it. You took a long pause to read that next part. Read that again.
The 10 tribes of Hebrews exiled to various parts of Assyrian Empire by Shalmaneser had escaped to Arsareth.
They escaped to Arsareth,
which Luminous identified as India, America.
Which Luminous identified as America. So now they know when you read in the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 13, what the Bible labels America as Arsareth.
That's right.
Which is a fourth part. As a matter of fact, if we could just jump to it real quick and let's read it real fast. And then we're going to get that. We're going to go to page 39 after that.
Bring it out.
2nd Ezra 13.
The book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 13, verse 40.
Just read it real fast.
Those are the 10 tribes which were carried away prisoners out of their own land in the time of Hosea the king.
Yes.
Whom Shalmaneser, the king of Assyria, led away captive. And he carried them over the waters. And so came they into another land.
That's the Assyrian Empire. They went into that land and they were dispersed there, which we just read in that book. Read on.
But they took this counsel among themselves, that they would leave the multitude of the heathen and go forth into a further country where never mankind dwelt.
They would go forth into a further country, a fourth part, which never mankind dwelt. Read on.
That they might there keep their statues, which they never kept in their own land.
That they might keep the statues, which they never kept in their own land. Read.
And they entered into Euphrates by the narrow passages of the river.
Yes.
For the Most High then shewed signs for them, and held still the flood till they were passed over.
Come on.
For through that country there was a great way to go, namely of 1.5 years.
Yes.
And that same region is called Arsareth.
And that same region that they went to is called Arsareth. Right? Now put that last page up one more time. No, matter of fact, let's go to the next one. We got to go back to it. We got a lot of stuff to get through. Lord willing, we get through it. 39. We already showed that they know Arsareth is America. Okay? Y'all can go back and check that page out. Page 39 or 35. Where we at? Come on. All right, 39, yes.
Furthermore, he noted the Indians of Mexico had traditions of long journeys, such as the one from Assyria to Arsareth.
Wait a minute. We just read about this in the book of Ezra. So this is saying that the Indians of Mexico had traditions of long journeys, such as the one from Assyria to Arsareth. Okay? So they know the so-called Mexicans are Israelites. So you so-called Negroes, those are your brothers, those are your sisters. We're the same people.
You're going to learn today.
Okay, read it again.
Furthermore, he noted the Indians of Mexico had traditions of long journeys, such as the one from Assyria to Arsareth.
Come on.
They also had tradition of flights, such as the Exodus from Egypt.
Wait a minute. The Indians of Mexico also had what? Flights from what? Such as what?
Such as the Exodus from Egypt.
Such as the Exodus from Egypt. They are the Israelites. That's what they're saying. The so-called Mexicans are the Israelites. What you read about in the book of Exodus chapter 12 and so forth, them coming out doing Passover, they had that in their history when they came to this side. Okay, when the conquistadors came to this side, they had records and so forth. Okay, read on. Watch this.
Other proofs include common traditions of earthquakes, which swallowed evil men, and of objects, manna.
All of this was in their records, okay? The Bible, so you can understand, okay? Read on.
falling from heaven, and the fact that an old Indian had begun his tale of the origins of his people with the words.
All right, so give me the next page, 87. So the Indians of Mexico, the so-called Mexicans, had traditions from coming from Assyria to Asaph, okay, which you read about in the book of 2nd Ezra. All right, watch this. Watch the next page. 61. Just give me that one.
And that Noah divided the world, giving Asia to Shem, Egypt and Africa to Ham, and Europe to Japheth.
So now, which we read about earlier, right? Those are the three parts. I just referenced that earlier. Read that part again.
And that Noah divided the world, giving Asia to Shem, Egypt and Africa to Ham, and Europe to Japheth.
Right. Those were the three parts. Asia to Shem, Egypt and Africa to Ham, and Europe to Japheth. Read on.
The second fundamental was that people now in the Indies,
the people that are now in the Indies, go ahead,
whom we call Indians, went to them from one of the three parts of the known world.
Now, that's key. The people you call so-called Indians or Native Americans went to them from one of the three parts of the known world.
That's right.
Come on.
The reason for this is that if the fourth part, called America, were inhabited at the beginning of the world,
if it was inhabited in the beginning of the world, read.
Or before the flood.
Or before the flood, which you have people now with this so-called doctrine like, yeah, we've always been here. We've been here millions of years. No, you were not. The so-called Native Americans were the first to inhabit this side. Thus saith the Lord in the Bible. Okay, read on.
In the time of Noah and his sons.
Well, if you are quote unquote Native American, you were the first people here, but not millions of years. Okay, that's not what the Bible says. So we got to go with thus saith the Lord. We got to stop making up our own traditions and so forth.
Right.
Read that again.
In the time of Noah and his sons or grandsons, there would have been notice of it, and the ancient historians and
Cosmographers meaning map makers. Okay, read on.
Would have mentioned it as they did the three said parts.
Right. If they knew about this side during that time period, they would have referenced it on maps and so forth. The historians would have referenced it, maps and so forth. They would have brought it up if they knew about it, which they did not. Okay.
Bring it out.
Now, give me the next page. 3. We're just going through different parts, dealing with this fourth part. Okay.
It came just after he had introduced readers to Asia, Africa, and Europe. The three parts of the world had been known since antiquity. These parts, he wrote, have in fact now been more widely explored.
These three parts have been widely explored. Go ahead.
And a fourth part has been discovered by Amerigo Vespucci.
Now, that's key. And a fourth part, right, the devil. Okay, the same, when we read about that in Revelation 6 and 8, they went forth conquering and to conquer. The fourth part, this is what you read about here. So this is confirming that Amerigo Vespucci is a part of that fourth kingdom. Okay, Esau, Edom, that will come back and reconquer. Remember Malachi, we are impoverished, but we will return and build. All right, read that part again, have in fact now been more widely explored. And a fourth part has been discovered by Amerigo Vespucci. Mm-hmm. Come on.
I do not see why anyone should rightly prevent this new part from being called American. The land.
I don't see any reason why we shouldn't name it after him. Read.
The land of Amerigo.
The land of Amerigo. So they originally said, let's call it American, okay, or American. The land of Amerigo. Read.
What?
As it were, or America.
Yes.
After its discovery. Americus, a man of perceptive character.
A man of perceptive character. He went and killed the natives and slaughtered and so forth. Perceptive character. Okay? That's how they think about themselves. They don't give a damn about you so-called Negroes, Native Americans, Hispanics. All right? We're nothing to them. Okay, give me the next page.
Since I have discovered a continent in those southern regions that is inhabited by more numerous peoples and animals than in our Europe or Asia or Africa.
So you see this here. Now look at this. Since I have discovered a continent in those southern regions that is inhabited by more numerous people and animals than in Europe, Asia, or Africa. So now, let's read Revelation 6 and 8 again. Let's keep that on the screen. Because I said it earlier. Okay. 6 and 8, yes.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 8.
Bring it out.
And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him.
Death and hell followed with him. Destruction, slavery. Okay, read on.
And power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth.
And power was given to them over the fourth part of the earth. Read on.
To kill with the
To do
sword.
what?
To kill with the sword.
To kill with the sword. They killed the people that were inhabiting this land already.
What?
Okay, which we'll read that on the screen again. Okay, since I have discovered.
Since I have discovered a continent in those southern regions that is inhabited by more numerous people and animals than in our Europe or Asia or Africa.
So it was millions of our people here. It was a lot of people here. Okay, coming here in around 500 some odd BC. Okay, then them coming in the early 1400s and whatnot. It's almost 1,000 years. Okay, there's a lot of our people here, and they came killing with the sword. All right, give me the next page. Now, the so-called Indians, Mexicans, okay, Hispanics and whatnot that dwelt here before the conquistadors came conquering the white horse, the pale horse. Okay, let's read this. What were they doing here? 78. Page 78.
They shoot them
Let's go.
about 5 inches from the edge. My fault. This
is fine. This is fine. Go ahead.
They shoot them about 5 inches from the edges, which are formed into tassels or tassels.
Now, what is this talking about? This is the custom of fringes, which you read about. They saw the so-called natives with fringes on or tassels when they came here. All right? I think that was 70. Give me 78 now. Is that correct? Yes. So give me this. So the natives had fringes on, which we have historical documents to prove that. Okay? Read.
The ceremonies of the Indians in their religious worships.
The ceremonies of the so-called natives in their religious worship
are more after the Mosaic institution than pagan imitation.
Now, see that. Their religious worship are more after the Mosaic institution, meaning the laws of Moses, than of pagan imitation. All right? For a particular time. Read the next highlighted part.
There yet remain so many marks as to enable us to trace the Hebrew extraction and rites
Read on.
through all the various nations of Indians. And we may with a great deal of probability conclude that if any heathens accompany them to American world.
That if any heathens accompanied them to the American world, because remember, they were the first to get here. So if any heathens came with them, read.
Or were settled in it before them.
Which it was not, because that's what 2nd Ezra confirms, okay? Which never mankind dwelt, read.
They became proselytes of justice, and their pagan rites and customs were swallowed up in the Jewish.
Right, meaning what? For a time period, we kept the laws of God. The so-called natives and Hispanics kept the laws of God for a particular time. That's what you read about in 2nd Ezra. It says that we may go forth into a further country and keep our laws, which we never kept in our own land. All right, so they did. They started doing it. All right, give me the next page.
That's right.
Their festivals, fasts, and religious rites have also a great resemblance to those of the Hebrews.
Because it is. They are the Hebrews. They're the Israelites. Their festivals, fasts, religious rites have also a great resemblance to those of the Hebrews. Read.
The principal Jewish
You
feast.
can keep going. It will be necessary here to take a short view of the principal Jewish feast. Uh-huh.
They kept every year a sacred feast.
Every year a sacred feast
called the Passover, in memory of the deliverance from Egypt.
Right. And remember, it said that about the so-called Mexicans earlier. Okay. They had traditions of leaving Egypt. Remember that. So they kept the Passover. The so-called Mexicans, natives, they kept Passover here. Okay.
That's right.
Give me the next page.
Because the Israelites lived in tabernacles or booths while they were in the wilderness as a memorial before the divine bounty to them. They were commanded to keep the Feast of Tabernacles on the 15th day of the month Tishri.
Tishri, go on.
Which they called Rosh
Hashanah.
Or Hashanah. It lasted 8 days.
Okay, Passover, and they kept tabernacles. Okay, Passover was 7 days. Tabernacles is 8 days. Read on.
Let us now turn to the copper color American Hebrews.
Now, let us turn to the copper color American Hebrews, the so-called Native Americans.
Right.
Read on.
They cheerfully obey and enter the supposed holy ground in solemn procession, each carrying in their hand a bundle of small branches of various green trees.
What's that talking about? Tabernacles. They carry a bundle of small branches of various green trees. Why? To dwell in booths. They had to build them back then. We got
That's right.
Tents that are made for you go to Walmart or whatever to pick this stuff up. Back then, we didn't do it like that. Okay? That's the ancient tradition right there. All right? Is that it, Ati? Come on, let's go.
Like the Jews, the greatest part of the southern Indian abstain from most things that are either in themselves or in the general apprehension of mankind, loathsome or unclean.
Mm-hmm.
When we find a deviation from the general rule among any of them, it is a corruption, either owing to the intercourse with Europeans.
So now, it's saying, read from where we find a deviation. So we read about them keeping fringes, Passover, the fast, tabernacles, so forth and so on. It says where we find a deviation, again, that part. It's in the third line in the middle.
Where we find a deviation from that general rule among any of them.
If you find a deviation, read.
It is a corruption.
So you had some of our brothers that were corrupted. Okay, some of them went off. Read.
Either owing to the intercourse with Europeans.
Now, either owing it to the intercourse with Europeans.
Bruh.
So now we know the Bible verified that Esau, Edom, okay, Esau meaning, again, wasted away is he. They're the fourth kingdom. The Bible says in Revelation 6 that they would have power over the fourth part of the earth. Okay? Second Ezra's verified that the so-called natives came here first. This is telling you that the Europeans came. They are Babylon the Great. They are the mystery Babylon. That's who it is. And this right here, the United States of America, is mystery Babylon. Okay, it was established here. Malachi 1:4 says they would be impoverished, but they will return and build. They came here conquering and to conquer. Read that again right there.
Where we find a deviation from that general rule among any of them, it is a corruption, either owing to the intercourse with Europeans or having contracted an ill habit from necessity.
Okay, an ill habit from necessity. So they said, listen, if you see where, they kind of went off, it's probably due to them, following after the Europeans. All right, give me the next part, the highlighted part.
If any of them did eat in white people's houses, or even of what had been dressed there, while they were sanctifying themselves, it was deemed as a dangerous sin of pollution.
You see that? Us mingling with the Europeans at one particular time was deemed a dangerous sin of pollution.
Bruh.
Now we want to integrate, marry their wives. You sisters want to marry their sons. Okay.
What the hell?
Have the so-called good hair, or whatever the case, which it ain't.
Damn. Wow.
All right. But at that time, it said it was a what? A dangerous sin of, it said pollution, right? Read it. Pull that up again. Let's see that again. Yes, a dangerous sin of pollution. Read it from formerly again.
Formerly, if any of them did eat in white people's houses, or even of what had been dressed there, while they were sanctifying themselves, it was deemed a dangerous sin of pollution.
Okay, so now, let's go back. Let's go back to Psalms 137. All right? Psalms 137 and 7.
The book of Psalms, chapter 137, verse 7. Remember, O Lord, the children of Edom in the day of Jerusalem, who said, raise it, even to the foundation thereof. O daughter of Babylon, who art to be destroyed, happy shall he be that rewarded thee as thou hast served us.
Now, again, I wanted to highlight that Edom or Esau Edom is called the daughter of Babylon. That's who they are. The daughter of Babylon. So now, give me IT. I want that link. Number 5. Give me number 5. The video number 5. And you can start at 17 minutes.
River. Now, I don't have time to teach on it, but there is evidence that this location is not forgotten. As a matter of fact, not long ago, Saddam Hussein put billions of dollars into trying to reestablish the splendor of Babylon, and he was doing his best to revitalize that when he began that effort and was pouring that amount of wealth into reestablishing Babylon as a world city. Prophecy teachers at that time.
So notice he's trying to dissect where is Mystery Babylon at? Where is this place at? So he's trying to reference the Neo-Babylonian vicinity. He says, oh yeah, Saddam was saying he was trying to, reestablish it in that particular area. That's what he's talking about. Play on.
Wow. We're seeing the fulfillment of Bible prophecy. And of course, as you know, he was captured and then finally faced judgment for his atrocities and was executed. But there is still a lot of work going on in that region of the world. Many of you may not know this, but the largest embassy that America has, we built in Babylon.
Wait a minute.
And
pause right there. The largest embassy that America had at that particular time, maybe it's different now, but was established in Babylon. Okay? The largest embassy that America had. Play on.
A larger piece of ground. It's actually a small town, as it were. I believe it encompasses over 180 acres.
And again, just to make a quick point, that's why they're called the daughter of Babylon. Okay?
Right.
They follow all the ways of ancient Babylon, and they even set up their embassy there. Okay? They studied all the sins and filth of all nations and brought it here. Okay? And they spread their pollutions across the globe. Remember, it says that death and hell followed after him. Wherever he goes, death and hell follows him. Okay? Play on.
It is a small town, as it were. By far, the most wealth that America has ever poured into an embassy was built in the area of Babylon. But as we get back into the Bible in Genesis
let's skip to 34 minutes, 45 seconds. Let's skip ahead a little bit. There's a couple of parts I'm going to just skip for the sake of time.
The Bible to lay the foundation for their debate. But again, I do not agree with this view, and I'll explain why in the moments ahead. Now, you're also going to discover in this debate...
just as a side note, before this, this video was long, but he went into how some people say that the Roman Catholic Church is Babylon the Great. Okay, but play on.
That there are those who try to build a case that the United States of America is the mystery Babylon at the end of time.
So he says some people try to say that America is mystery Babylon. Play on.
Of our historic impact on world economy,
Wait a minute. Because of our historic impact on world economy. He just said that. Read Revelation 6 and read 5 again. Revelation 6 and 5.
The book of Revelation, chapter 6, verse 5.
Bring it out.
And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny. And see thou hurt not the oil and the wine.
What's that? Economics. That's them destroying the economics. They tell all other nations your dollar's garbage. Okay? They control all the natural resources. That's what it's going into. America did this. That's what we read about here. Babylon the Great. Whoever would do this is Babylon the Great. Okay? Play on.
Evolving religious apostasy. And so if you're going to look at America through that lens of biblical criteria in Mystery Babylon,
Take it back just a little bit.
Is the Mystery Babylon at the end of time because of our historic impact on world economy, commerce, and our evolving religious apostasy.
Our evolving religious apostasy. Can we just look that word up real quick? I didn't send it to y'all. Apostasy.
Yes, sir.
America's religious apostasy. All right, let's look that up real quick.
Apostasy. The abandonment or renunciation of a religious or a political belief.
So now, religious apostasy is the abandonment or what?
Renunciation of a religious or political belief.
Meaning what? The stuff that's true, they say to hell with that. We're not doing that, and we're going to change everything. Okay? Can we get 2 Thessalonians again to find out what they did? 2 Thessalonians 2 and 4.
Let's go.
The book of 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 4. Who opposeth and exalted himself above all that is called God, or that is worship, so that he as God sitteth in the temple of God, showing himself that he is God.
That's religious apostasy right there. Remember, and Paul said at that time, the mystery of iniquity was already at work. Now get Revelation 13. Revelation 13 verse 14. No, 15. 15, get to the point. 13, 15.
The book of Revelation, chapter 13, verse 15. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast...
He had power to give life into the image of the beast. We saw that earlier. Okay? Cesar Borgia posed as Christ, as the Renaissance Christ. That's what we're talking about right here. Read it again.
The devil.
And that he had power to give unto the image of the beast.
He had power to give life unto the image of the beast. Okay, this beast made an image of itself. Remember, the beast is the fourth beast, which is the so-called Caucasians. Wasted away is he. Same people. Read it again. Put the image back up.
And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak.
Should both speak. That's what we're looking at here. The movies, the imagery, and so forth. Read.
And caused that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
And they killed us for not worshiping that particular image. That's religious apostasy. The Bible does not say Christ looked like this. Let's just read it for them real quick and keep that image on the screen, the false image. Revelation 1 and 14. Let's show the difference, how they push religious apostasy throughout the entire earth.
The book of Revelation, chapter 1, verse 14. His head and his hairs were white like wool.
The image does not have woolly hair. Read on.
As white as snow.
It's not white as snow. Come on.
And his eyes were as a flame of fire.
Read on.
And his feet like unto fine brass.
His feet will be the same color as his hands, his neck, and his face.
That's right.
Which is fine brass, a derivative of brown. Read on.
As if they burned in a furnace.
So Christ was a dark man with woolly hair. This image is blasphemy. This is religious apostasy. America pushed this throughout the entire globe. They are Mystery Babylon the Great. They are under Satan's authority. That's them. Now play that video. Go back to the video again. Let's see what this demon talking about. He wants to make the case that it's not America. He says some can say that, but, let's play on. Watch this.
America, through that lens of biblical criteria in Mystery Babylon in the book of Revelation, you can probably push the United States of America into that definition. It's hard to ignore America's blatant moral descent in recent years, its religious apostasy, its political corruption, and its global cooperation. And so those who try to define in this debate of Mystery Babylon that it's the United States of America, I understand the lens that they're looking through, but again, I respectfully disagree. I do not believe that the Roman Catholic Church, I do not believe that the Vatican, I do not believe that the United States of America is the Mystery Babylon found
take it back
in
just a little bit.
Political corruption and its global cooperation. And so those who try to define in this debate of Mystery Babylon that it's the United States of America.
Listen, that part right there, let's pause right there. He said it's global, I think he used the word cooperation. I don't think he said corruption. Global cooperation. Look at Revelation 17 real quick. Revelation 17. They fit all the attributes. That's what y'all got to see, okay? Read Revelation 17 and 5.
The book of Revelation.
Read 1. 17:1, then verse 5.
Chapter 17, verse 1. And there came one of the seven angels, which had seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgment of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
I will show you the judgment of the great whore which sitteth upon many waters. Read on.
Verse 5. And upon her forehead.
You know what? Just read on. Read down.
Verse 2. With whom the kings of the earth had committed fornication, and the inhabitants of the...
You know what that is? That's global cooperation. It says, with whom the kings of the earth have committed fornication, they follow all America's ways. And what followed them? Death and hell. Read on.
And the inhabitants of the earth have been made drunk with the wine of her fornication. So he carried me away in the spirit unto the wilderness. And I saw a woman sit upon a scarlet-colored beast, full of names of blasphemy, having 7 heads and 10 horns.
7 heads and 10 horns. Okay, come on. That's the European Union. All right, come on. You know what? That's what formulates this beast. Okay, come on.
And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stone and pearls, having a golden cup in her hand full of abomination and
full of abominations. Remember, he says it's blatant corruption, moral corruption, or something like that. I forgot how he worded it. Read on.
Full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
It was moral descent. That's what he said there. Blatant moral descent. Read that part again. Let's get that part you just read.
Having a golden cup in her hand full of abominations.
That's it right there. Full of abominations. America's blatant moral descent. Full of abominations. Read on.
And filthiness of her fornication.
And filthiness of her fornications. What verse we at?
Verse 5.
All right, jump down to verse 13. I said 13, I meant 18.
The book of Revelation, chapter 17, verse 18. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city.
That woman that thou sawest is that great city.
Which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
Which reigneth over the kings of the earth. Again, global cooperation. They rule everything. Everything and everybody. Okay? Go back. That might be almost all I want.
Looking through, but again, I respectfully disagree. I do not believe that the Roman Catholic Church, I do not believe that the Vatican, I do not believe that the United States of America is the Mystery Babylon found in the book of Revelation. Now, is it possible, if not probable, that all of the above that I've mentioned will play a significant role? Probably more towards probable than possible. Others.
All right. So he says, play that. Go back about 15 seconds, 10 seconds, and play that again. He said, probable more than possible.
That the Vatican, I do not believe that the United States of America is the mystery Babylon found in the book of Revelation. Now, is it possible, if not probable, that all of the above that I've mentioned will play a significant role? Probably more towards probable than possible.
Okay, more probable than possible. Okay, meaning they fit all the attributes. They fit all the attributes. That's what he's saying. He just don't want to admit it, but they fit all the attributes. Okay, that's who they are. America is Mystery Babylon the Great. They are under Satan's authority. So he mentioned like moral descent, so forth and so on. Now let's get give me number one, the link number one. Let's look at some of America's blatant moral descent. Watch this.
When a whore, a beta, and a Satanist are the top candidates for men of the year,
Stop.
it's
Kim Kardashian is on GQ magazine as one of the men of the year. Starting from the top.
when a whore, a beta, and a Satanist are the top candidates
whore,
for
a beta, and a Satanist. Go ahead.
men of the year, it's clear men have hit rock bottom.
You see that? Men have hit rock bottom, meaning what? This is moral descent. Okay?
What?
That's what this is going into. Read on. Play on.
It's equally clear that controllers of the zeitgeist are in the final stages of ending the patriarchy. Men are laughing stocks, too weak to offer any real pushback. The culture depicts white men as buffoons and bigots, and black men as effeminate and immoral. Marvel churns out.
What you're looking at again, blatant moral descent. Remember Revelation, get that again in Revelation 17 we just read about what's in a cup. Let's get that again. Verse 4.
The book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 4. The woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls.
So she appeared to be righteous, glorious, this golden city. Read on.
Having a golden cup in her hand, full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication.
You see that? Full of abominations and filthiness of her fornication. Play that again, or play on.
Marvel churns out bad superhero movies featuring women. Every television show features a woman or a gay person as the most courageous, ethical, and smartest person in the room.
What the
A
hell?
chubby, 50-year-old gay rapper, Queen Latifah, jumps off balconies and thwarts the bad guys every Sunday night on The Equalizer. This stuff isn't harmless. It's brainwashing intended to produce the feminist cult.
So now stop. Notice he says it's not harmless, meaning it's intentional. That's what blatant moral descent is. You're doing it intentionally on purpose. Okay? Why? To keep the Israelites in sin. That's the purpose. Okay? Play on.
True.
To
When a
distort
whore,
biblical truth. You see that at the end. To distort biblical truth. That's the purpose. Give me number 9. We're just going to go over a little bit of this moral descent, in Mystery Babylon the Great, which is the United States of America.
Right.
Under Satan's authority. Play that.
The panel is made up of white men. This is not a pejorative.
Can you turn it up a little bit?
You've all
Or is that it?
sermonized to a certain extent about diversity. If you believe that your likely successor will be a woman or a person of color, would you kindly extend a hand into the air? Let the record reflect, for fear that you may not hear
Let's
me.
skip ahead just a little bit. Right.
Would you kindly extend a hand into the air if you can hear me? Next to the gentleman that raised
He's
his
just trying
hand.
to get them to raise their hand. Just hey, are you listening? Raise your hand if you're listening to me. Play on.
Extend a hand, please. With the glasses, perhaps I should call your name. Mr. Sharp, would you? Thank you. I know it's difficult to go on the record sometimes, but the record has to be made. All white men, and none of you not one appears to believe that your successor will be a female or a person of color. Next question has to do with something near and dear to my heart. My ancestors were slaves. In 2005, is it true that J.P. Morgan released information directly indicating that it directly benefited from slavery?
J.P. Morgan released information that they directly benefited from slavery.
That's ridiculous.
Okay, Blake?
Representative from J.P. Morgan respond.
I do believe that in 2005 we made a report about potential transactions that involved slavery between J.P. Morgan or its heritage companies back in the 1800s.
In fact, there was an indication, I believe, that you accepted loans against slaves as collateral. True?
I believe that to be true, yes.
For edification purposes,
all right, that's it. So they benefited from slavery, okay? They enslaved the people here and they benefited from it. J.P. Morgan Chase, okay, a famous bank. All right? Now, get that in Revelation 6 again.
The book of Revelation.
You know what? Get Deuteronomy 28. 28, you know what I want, 68. And then give me the next one, IT, number 10.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 68. And the Lord shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies.
And there you shall be sold unto your enemies. Go ahead.
For bondmen and bondwomen.
So now the Caucasians sold us and the banks backed it up, okay? They insured the slaves. Bruh. And they benefited from that thing. Read on. Is that it?
And no man shall buy you.
No man shall save you out of those conditions. We're still here. We're waiting on to get ourselves right and Jesus the Christ to come back to redeem us from here. Now, give me the next video, 10. We're just going over some of this moral descent, okay, in Babylon the Great. The filth of her fornication and whatnot. Watch this.
You're going to learn today.
Come on, number 10.
Good evening, Usher. How you doing tonight? All right, how are you? I'm doing fine. You're getting better now that you're here. All right, give me a look over here, Usher.
Now look at
this.
That
great smile here. Give me that Super Bowl.
They put him front and center, take photos of him. This is honorable in Babylon, okay? This is a so-called black man with a damn dress on. Get Deuteronomy 22:5 real quick. Remember, he said, yeah, I think that you could, possibly fit us in there. You can't ignore the blatant moral descent. Right. Religious apostasy. Remember he used that word? Read Deuteronomy 22:5.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 22, verse 5. The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
Yes.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
Put the image back on again. Neither shall what?
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment.
Neither shall what?
A man put on a woman's garment.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. This is in the Bible. But America does not keep nor follow the laws of God. They don't teach them. They don't teach or keep them. They don't do anything. All right? Read it again.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man.
Yes.
Neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God.
All that do so are an abomination unto the Lord thy God. America doesn't say, hey, Usher, you shouldn't do that. You shouldn't have that on. They're promoting it. They put him front and center. They probably put him on a magazine and push his image, okay, throughout social media and whatnot.
The devil.
All right, give me the next one, IT. Give me, you know what? Give me number 14. Give me number 14.
Are the wars in Israel and Ukraine more than the United States can take on at the same time?
We're the United States of America, for God's sake. The most powerful nation in the history, not in the world, in the history of the world. The history of the world. We can take care of both of these and still maintain our overall international defense. We have the capacity to do this, and we have an obligation to. We are the essential nation, as to paraphrase the former Secretary of State. And if we don't, who does?
Hey, IT, were y'all able to pull up that last image I sent? Let's pull that up. He says, if we don't do it, who will do it? Okay. He says we're the most powerful nation in the history of the world. So now who the hell else could be Mystery Babylon the Great? Right. Okay, other than America. They're telling you who they are.
The devil.
Now, let's pull that image up. And let's read Revelation again, where we just Revelation 17 and 1. Look at this. U.S. military bases around the world. All right, they have military bases everywhere. It says a total of 845, I believe that's what it says. Okay, everywhere, all over the globe. Read this, 17 and 1.
The book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 1. And there came one of the seven angels, which had the seven vials, and talked with me, saying unto me, Come hither, I will show unto thee the judgments of the great whore that sitteth upon many waters.
This is what you're looking at right here, that sitteth upon many waters. They control and have military bases across the entire globe. They run the world. They sit upon many waters. Read verse 5 again. Well, 4 and 5.
Verse 4. And the woman was arrayed in purple and scarlet color, and decked with gold and precious stones and pearls.
Right, because everybody wants to come to America. They present themselves as this righteous woman, this great city. Read on.
Having a golden cup in her hand, full of abomination and filthiness of a fornication.
Yes, come on.
And upon her forehead was the name written, Mystery Babylon the Great, the mother of harlots and the abominations of the earth.
What?
Verse 18 again.
Verse 18. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city.
And the woman which thou sawest is that great city. Read.
Which reigneth over the kings of the earth.
Again, this is what you're seeing on the screen. Which reigneth over the kings of the world. Who the hell else is Mystery Babylon other than America? That's who they are. They are under Satan's authority. Can we get that in Luke again to show why are we saying they're under Satan's authority? Why? How could you say something like that? Okay, give me that. Luke chapter 4, where we started at. Watch this. 4 and 1.
The book of Luke chapter 4 verse 1.
You know what? 5.
Bring it out.
Let's get to the point. 4
The book of Luke chapter 4 verse 5. And the devil, taking him up into a high mountain, showed unto him all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time.
So the devil showed Christ all the kingdoms of the world in a moment of time. Read on.
And the devil said unto him, All this power will I give thee.
All this power will I give you, Christ. Read.
And the glory of them.
And the glory of them.
For that is delivered unto me.
Come on.
And to whomsoever I will, I give it.
And whoever I want to give it to, I'm going to give it to them. Read.
If thou therefore will worship me, all shall be thine.
Pull that image back up. If thou therefore will worship me, all shall be thine. You will control everything on the planet Earth. Everything will be yours. So who's under Satan's authority? The United States of America.
The devil.
That's who they are. Okay? Now give me number 15.
If I were the devil, if I were the devil, if I were the prince of darkness, I'd want to engulf the whole world in darkness, and I'd have 1/3 of its real estate and 4/5 of its population, but I wouldn't be happy until I had seized the ripest apple on the tree, thee. So I'd set about, however necessary, to take over the United States. I'd subvert the churches first. I'd begin with a campaign of whispers. With the wisdom of a serpent, I would whisper to you as I whispered to Eve, do as you please. To the young, I would whisper that the Bible is a myth. I would convince them that man created God instead of the other way around. I would confide that what's bad is good and what's good is square. And the old I would teach to pray after me, Our Father, which art in Washington. And then I'd get organized. I'd educate authors in how to make lurid literature exciting so that anything else would appear dull and uninteresting. I'd threaten TV with dirtier movies and vice versa. I'd peddle narcotics to whom I could. I'd sell alcohol to ladies and gentlemen of distinction. I'd tranquilize the rest with pills. If I were the devil, I'd soon have families at war with themselves, churches at war with themselves, and nations at war with themselves, until each in its turn was consumed. And with promises of higher ratings, I'd have mesmerizing media fanning the flames. If I were the devil, I would encourage schools to refine young intellects, but neglect to discipline emotions, just let those run wild. Until before you knew it, you'd have to have drug-sniffing dogs and metal detectors at every schoolhouse door. Within a decade, I'd have prisons overflowing. I'd have judges promoting pornography. Soon I could evict God from the courthouse, then from the schoolhouse, and then from the houses of Congress. And in his own churches, I would substitute psychology for religion and deify science. I would lure priests and pastors into misusing boys and girls and church money. If I were the devil, I'd make the symbol of Easter an egg and the symbol of Christmas a bottle. If I were the devil, I'd take from those who have and give to those who wanted until I had killed the incentive of the ambitious. And what'll you bet? I couldn't get whole states to promote gambling as the way to get rich. I would caution against extremes in hard work, in patriotism, in moral conduct. I would convince the young that marriage is old-fashioned, that swinging is more fun, that what you see on TV is the way to be. And thus I could undress you in public, and I could lure you into bed with diseases for which there is no cure. In other words, if I were the devil, I'd just keep right on doing what he's doing.
The hell is this?
All right. So you heard it yourself. Okay? They are the devil that the Bible speaks of. And they established their kingdom right here in the United States of America. They are under Satan's authority. That's their daddy. They're Satan's son. They're Satan's seed upon the earth. Okay, give me Revelation 18:4. Because we have a job to do as the Israelites. You so-called blacks, Hispanics, Native Americans. We referenced some books earlier. You so-called natives, Mexicans, and so forth. Y'all the Israelites. Before they came here and conquered, y'all were keeping God's commandments on some level. Regardless, we got to come back as the Israelites. Revelation 18:4.
The book of Revelation, chapter 18, verse 4.
Come on.
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sin."
You see that? Because we read earlier, in her cup is filth and abominations. We saw some of them on the screen. Okay? So the Bible says what again?
And I heard another voice from heaven saying, "Come out of her, my people, that ye be not partakers of her sins, and that ye receive not of her plagues."
Read on.
For her sins have reached unto heaven, and God has remembered her iniquities. Reward her even as she rewarded you, and double unto her double according to her works.
So judgment is coming here. When Christ returns, it's going to be a heavy judgment. This place is going to be completely destroyed. Okay? So if you Israelites don't repent and keep God's commandments, you're going to go down with this place. All
That's right.
With that, we're going to close it out. This is Captain Josiah. Shalom.
Come on, we need y'all to subscribe to help us push. We got a lot of work to do in North Carolina. The Carolinas need this work.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? The Carolinas need this work. So we need y'all to go and subscribe right now. Grab your finger. This one right here in particular.
Right.
Swipe the YouTube that you're probably already watching. Click the YouTube app.
Right.
Go to IUIC Riley page. Right up under there, it says subscribe. Click that button one time. Click that check. Subscribe to IUIC Riley.
Shalom, Israel. This is Bishop Nathaniel. I want you to know that you can view all our Sabbath classes live on IUIC TV. That's right, I said on IUIC TV. Download the app today. Shalom. What is the nation? Nation is men leading by example. Nation is family. Nation is
His word